It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
All right, so the number one, when we polled you guys, said, hey, what's the biggest money problem that you face? The number one highest responded to issue was not making enough money. And I think this is something that even financial mutants can end up falling prey to. Hey, I just don't feel like I'm making enough money to be able to do the things I want to do and be in the place that I want to be in.
This falls back into that mental trap that earlier I was talking about. When you start investing, after you do it 5 years, after you do it 10 years, you're like, where's all this rate of return, the compounding growth these guys are talking about? Well, the same thing happens with your wages. I think sometimes when you come out, especially some of the better opportunity areas, you have to go build an expertise first. You have to give it time to essentially develop the skills that are so valuable to society that an employer or a business that you started pays you extra. It doesn't happen overnight. This is another one of those false promises that I feel like society puts forth. Is they show all these people in their 20s and 30s on Instagram that are living luxurious life. And then I know better. I know that the typical millionaire is not minted until around age 49.
That's not the person on Instagram.
You're like, wow, that's not what I see on social media.
Right.
And I'm telling you, the reason is that you've got to know that there will be a period that it takes to put in the time to develop into that great, awesome life that you have in the future. And that's why, when we see the stat that 19% Americans are comfortable with their salary, that means 81%
are not comfortable with their
and that makes
salary.
sense. I can remember all stages of my life, really until my 40s. I was like, man, I just don't make a lot of money for all the time I put in school, all the time. Think about, I think about even our associates. The first few years, we pay a great salary. But you are developing so much in skill here. It's not until you've developed that expertise that you can be rewarded. And I worry about how many people, because of the false promises of society, they leave careers, they leave ventures 3 or 4 years into it when maybe they just needed to gut it out for an extra year or two before they started actually pulling the fruit off the tree. So I guess my word of caution is don't give up too early.
Yeah, I think I am not, I would not classify myself as the old category, right? I'm not necessarily old yet.
I think that,
but
does
I'm
that
not,
mean you're looking over here? Because I don't consider myself old either.
I'm just saying, I'm not exactly young either. So I'm kind of in this middle ground. One thing that I always encourage young folks who are coming out of college, I talked with our intern this year about this, there's nothing wrong with putting in the work. If you are not happy with where you are, first you need to do a self-assessment. If you're not happy and you are 21 years old and you're just starting out in a brand new job, perhaps this is not supposed to be the happiest part of your work career, because this is kind of the part where you're doing the legwork, you're putting in the licks, you're putting in the hours. It's okay to do that. But even as you progress in your career, even as you move along, you can still put in work at your current employer to look for other opportunities. What are ways that you can deliver value that perhaps your superiors, perhaps your boss is not asking you for, but you recognize there's a need? That's one of the things a lot of our clients who we've seen that have been able to work their way through either public business or privately owned businesses is they're able to see needs that the company has, and they're able to speak and lean into those needs. And it's amazing, the more effectively you can do that, the more control you have over your financial future than you actually might recognize.
Yeah, I mean, and it might not be something that's glamorous, because one of the things we'll talk about it. We have an upcoming show with somebody when we talk about the American dream and opportunities, and we had somebody come by last week that just floored me. I got the tingles on my hair stood up.
You're talking about Chi.
Chi was it was just so incredible. And one of the key things he said, I was going to do the work that others weren't willing to do. And guys, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I think that's the first thing. So look around and see, is there things you could be doing at your current place that makes you stand out and sets you up for a better long-term opportunity? Is there fruit in the future? And if there's not, I mean, that's another part of it. Look around and say, man, I'm kind of trapped. This is not where I need to be. Maybe I need to take a step sideways to get to the step forward. And then what's the long-term view? And that leads to, we did a show very recently on, because this is something unique out of what came out of the pandemic, is 40% of Americans are considering quitting their job. There's going to be a lot more turnover post-pandemic than I think that is historically normal, because I think a lot of people did use the pandemic and the time at home, the time to reflect, to figure out how do I feel about this? Does this align to where I want to be in the long term? So we want to kind of give a solution of how do you position yourself to actually do this transition well?
So if you are someone out there and you are thinking about other opportunities, go listen to this show, because you want to make sure you assess where you are presently, figure out if a change is necessary, and then if there is a change necessary, figure out the things that you need to do that will make you stand out, that will allow you to get yourself in a better opportunity. We walk through some things like learning how to be a peacock, how to be enthusiastic and excited, doing your research to make sure that you connect with your potential employer on a level that other candidates aren't able to connect on. And we walk you through all these different ways you can approach doing that, and doing that as a financial mutant, not just as someone who's just another name, another resume on the stack.
I do think this is such an interesting time, is that I think that there are a lot of businesses that are looking for new folks right now. So you have the potential to use these tips on how to get a job that we shared in that episode to really make yourself stand out and maximize the opportunity. And this is going to accelerate your path to becoming a financial mutant, creating financial independence, and then reaching that level of success that you are, kind of really relishing in, that your best financial life. And that's a great feeling, because it takes you past happiness and really gets you to fulfillment. And ultimately, that's what you're hoping you can use money for, is a tool to get you to that place that not only makes you happy, but makes you feel like when you wake up in the morning, you're doing exactly what you were put on this earth to do.
And maybe you're doing that, and you're still saying, you know what, I am doing what I put on this earth to do, but that thing is not the highest paying thing in the world, or I wish I had more income. I wish I had a way to be able to build more. We live in one of the most interesting times in history, because right now I think it is easier than ever to create a side income, to do a side hustle. We actually did a show on this last year called Top 6 Side Hustles in 2021. It's this year, I guess, as it said 2021. We did a show earlier this year where we actually walked through how to go about doing a side hustle, some things to think about. So maybe you don't have to change jobs, or maybe you don't have to climb the corporate ladder, but there are ways that if one of the money problems that you're struggling right now is not making enough money, we live in a fantastic time to be able to impact and influence that and take control of your financial life.
So guys, we covered the 5 biggest financial problems people face, and then we tried to, scratch the surface of those items to give you solutions to figure this out. The biggest part of this is be an optimist and look at your situation realistically and say, what can I do differently, or where am I right now, and take an inventory of the situation. I think we've given you enough to create discussions. I encourage you, come to our YouTube channel, go to our website, moneyguy.com, leave us comments, write us questions, tell us how we can help you figure out how to navigate this well, because that is the entire purpose of the Money Guy Show, is to help you guys find solutions to accelerate your success, because that is the abundance cycle. I want you to come here, learn, apply, grow these concepts, and it's going to take years. We are patient as we're planting these wealth seeds that we know there will come. We've been doing this over 15 years. You apply these concepts, we know that you'll reach the level of success. You'll be like, I need a co-pilot. I need somebody to sit right next to me and help me make the right decisions, because this thing is too big to screw up, or I just don't know what I don't know. And that's where the abundance cycle comes to the graduation point, that you consider hiring us to be your financial advisors for the future. We have a whole firm behind us, Abound Wealth, and I love the fact that I get to connect with you guys. So with giving away advice, essentially running a huge virtual classroom to show you how to be the best version of your financial self.
If you haven't checked out all the resources I have available, go to moneyguy.com/resources. They are there for you to take and use. We love getting to do this. Thank you for letting us be a part of your financial journey.
I'm your host, Brian Preston, Mr. Bo Hansen. Money Guy team, out.